What's up, guys, and welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. And today, we're going to take kind of a more casual feel. I know everything's serious, obviously. We'll touch on COVID-19. I'm going to talk about Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer's. I watched both of their stand-up specials. We're going to cover both of theirs. We're going to talk about John Jones getting arrested again, the UFC, NBA, all the huge musicians that are performing right now. They're not. All that stuff is being canceled. We're going to talk about it today here on the Road to Redemption podcast.
Well, hello there, boys and girls. Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. It's your boy Cam.
Going live. Lights, cam, action.
What's up, friends, and welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. As you guys saw, we're going to review a couple things today, but first I want to tell you about a very disappointing thing I found out. When I was a child, thought that I was a superhuman or a superhero for many reasons. I had tons of gifts and talents, one of which I thought was really impressive, that I thought, and I had never had the audacity to speak this to anyone else because I didn't want to share it in case they figured out they could do it. I used to sit, trust me, I know, I used to sit for hours. Not hours. I would sit there all day long looking at things, close up and then far away. And I would hyper-focus like I just did on my hand to where you could focus, like my camera does, autofocus. And I would stare so closely and so hard at something. I was like, I'm a superhuman. I can blur everything out in my background and super focus. My wife is an optician. She told me that's called astigmatism. When you force yourself to do that for that long, guess who can't see now? Me! So all these times I thought I was being super focused boy. Really what I was doing was causing myself long-term visual damage. Anyway, welcome. I know everything seems lull and everything. You guys are probably watching a ton of content now, which is great, and I love that. Especially love that when you watch mine. Hey. But yeah, so I've been watching a lot of content. What have I been watching? Over the last couple of weeks, we've been quarantined. Things have been so crazy. What have my family and I, we've all been home together, which has been great. As you can hear, my daughter's out there. I watch a lot of stand-up. So, first and foremost, I will talk about Tom Segura's Ball Hog stand-up comedy special. Now, I'm a big Tom Segura fan, as most people are who listen to podcasts these days, especially comedy podcasts. If you started listening to them because of Rogan, you know who Tom Segura is. But, funny story, I actually saw Tom Segura years ago, like probably back in 2012. He performed at the Funny Bone in Cincinnati, and I saw him there, and he was hilarious then. He's not, obviously not what he is now, but he made me laugh the entire time. So, I guess, anyway, I'm not going to ramble. Tom Segura's had a few stand-up specials come out so far, mostly stories, disgraceful, and then this one was called Ball Hog. He had a couple before that, and I don't remember the name of them. Anyway, Ball Hog. So, with his, from the get, you're laughing. If you're a fan of Tom Segura and you're a fan of just, the biggest thing that I hear people comment Tom on is when he does that, his little laugh that he does. Tom can make things funny just by being Tom. So again, that's a great stand-up comedian. That alone, the timing of when he throws those little chuckles in, guys, it's Tom Segura's timing is impeccable. Now, Tom Segura is not a big transition guy. He doesn't segue into jokes. He joke, punchline. Sometimes he does a good mix between storytelling and set-up punchline jokes. But Tom Segura does it in a way where he kind of sets it up quick, hits you with it, and he's off to the next thing. And, Tom Segura is a big one on he likes to talk shit. He likes to ruffle feathers. And what got him a lot of notoriety, especially from Rogan, talked about it a lot, he got in trouble with Netflix for saying a few words that people disagreed with, and he leaned right into that curve. So again, if you didn't know him before, it's genius, because in the first couple minutes, he does a comeback to his old specials that would make you now go watch them and go binge him. Now, he didn't know his special was going to go live during the coronavirus, but hey, it worked out. So, Tom Segura, amazing special. Hilarious all the way through. Again, the ball hog joke, I know it's been popularly said, the ball hog joke was this little in the special. I mean, it was a throwaway joke that he had. It meant nothing. And I'm pretty sure he told that joke either on his podcast or on Rogan before. I've heard that joke from him somewhere before, where he must have been playing around with it and he tossed it in a special because it worked on one of the podcasts or something. But yeah, it was great. So, go watch it. Go support Tom. Now, I'm not a fan of Your Mom's House podcast. I love Tom, and I am actually a fan of Christina P. I don't like that how shocking can we be, fart, shit, dick joke, humor kind of thing. How he does it in comedy, I like it there. I don't, the podcast is too much. So much love to the Segura family and or Mr. P as they call him, because he makes fun of Garth Brooks. Guys, great special. Great special. Now, his good friend Bert Kreischer also had a special come out. Birdie Boy is the name of his. He had one before that was called The Machine, and then he had one after The Machine, but before Birdie Boy, that was called Storytime. Now, I like Bert Kreischer. I like Bert Kreischer as a podcaster. I like Bert Kreischer as a guy. I think he's great. I think he's very sincere, and he's a very genuine guy. I think he's a funny stand-up comedian. I don't think he is a special stand-up comedian, right? Like, to where he should have a special. I just think he performs better on podcasts. I mean, I think Bert Kreischer could just be a podcast guy, and if he wants to go out and do the meet and greets and do the stand-up to tell the stories, great. But, like, I don't know. His setup punch to me was quick setup, quick punch, but not all the punches land. Like, especially in the beginning, he's quick with like 3 or 4 quick jokes that just, they come out, he sets them up, bang, set it up, bang, set it up, bang, and they weren't even hitters. So in the beginning, you know, they all talk about analytics and stuff. You've got about 30 seconds to get their attention, and by the first 30 seconds, he had already shot and missed on 2 jokes, in my opinion. Now, you know, what laugh tracks got played or whether the audience laughed, I don't know. Bert is the kind of guy where you're gonna play to his crowd, right? He's the party guy, he's the machine, he's the animal, you know, he's all that stuff. It's, you gotta like that kind of stuff. Again, I love Bert as a guy. I couldn't even quote one of the jokes. Like, I sat there and I tried to laugh because I like Bert, but I'm also not going to laugh at stuff about, like, digging on your kids that hardcore. Calling your kids dumb and stuff. I get it. That's his style, and his wife is probably cool with it. His kids are probably whatever. He talks a lot about very intimate and personal stuff, but again, it's to shock and it's to awe. And all comedy kind of does that in a way, but I thought that one may be a little excessive. So, Bert Kreischer's Birdie Boy stand-up special, yeah, I'll have to pass on that one. I would never watch that one again. Storytime I thought was actually better than this one. I don't know why, it just was. I thought Storytime was actually very funny. So this one was maybe just a little sped up. Maybe with everything he felt a lot of pressure to put this out. I don't know. But this one, to me, I wasn't a big fan of Bert Kreischer's Birdie Boy special. It's actually recording. Sorry about that. I had a little hiccup there behind the camera. Hopefully YouTube will pick that one up. I wanted to talk to you guys about the state of everything, right? We got the coronavirus going on. Actually, the Tennessee, the state that I live in, will update us here in about 30 minutes as far as the new numbers, how many new cases, what's going on. And that is a big tell for the country. You know, once those numbers start rolling in, then people start making decisions. Here, we're not on a mandatory shelter in place, but we're on about as close as you can get to that, where it's, if you are not absolutely essential, stay home. It's been crazy walking through the stores and like seeing people with the masks on and looking at each other all bugged out. That's for sure weird, but let me give you guys a positive spin that you probably haven't heard from any other podcast or any other thing like that. Now, I'm sure other people have noticed that nature is kind of coming back to life. A lot of people like talking about that. I spend a lot of my time in my backyard. My wife likes gardening and all that. I like to sit outside for the sunrise and the sunset. And for me, it's really cool. In the morning, specifically at noon, I got a little cardinal that comes and hangs out with me, which is dope because the state bird of Ohio is a cardinal, and I'm from Ohio. So it's like getting some love from the home front there when that happens. But I'm noticing, man, the squirrels just seem happier. The birds are playing and moving around. No, it's, the first day of spring was a couple days ago. Everything just seems like it's more at peace, right? If you disconnect from the phone and stop trying to keep up with the case count and who got this and what celebrity's talking about this and who's got the coronavirus and what did they feel like, and let me read this whole detailed thing so I can start hyper focusing on symptoms that I don't even have, and it's like, whoa. Whoa. Focus on nature, man. Focus on, it's been the joy of my whole life to be home these last couple weeks with my family, watch my kids, and just be present with them, right? And be able to put everything away for a minute, because my job is at a serious standstill, man. All these events that I had planned, they're not happening right now, and they probably won't happen until June. And a lot of businesses, they don't want to put up advertising money, and they're not trying to do a lot of promotional stuff right now because times are so uncertain. So I really, really feel for the people who maybe have lost their jobs or have had to choose to stop working to protect their families, guys. I encourage you to do that. Even if your bosses aren't giving you time off, guys, take time. It's not worth it to go to work and make money if you are infecting your family, if you're coming home, sorry, I know that sounds probably driving everybody nuts. My chair keeps hitting the back of my seat here. If you're going to work, right, even the healthcare workers, and they're doing such an amazing job, but it scares me so bad because you know what? In a movie, you always see that there's a sacrifice being made, right? There's usually one person or a couple people that go, they put that look in their eye and they go, I'm going to take one for the team, and everyone looks at them and they kind of understand, you're really, something bad is going to happen. You're probably going to die here, but we understand you feel like this was your calling. Well, that's what the healthcare workers are doing right now. They go into work every single day knowing that could be the day they contract this deadly disease that, kills them. So I think as a country, we're going to reevaluate a lot of stuff. I think we're going to reevaluate what we put up with. As far as work, I think this is going to show people what they're actually meant to their companies and what their companies mean to them. Excuse me. I think people are going to start really turning back to what matters in life, What matters? I'm seeing people grilling out. I'm watching people walk with their families and walk outside. My family and I are going to go take a walk here in a little bit. I'm watching people just create, man. One thing I put out early through all this was use this time to be creative. And I'm seeing a lot of it. I freaking love it, right? Unfortunately, one situation that popped up while we've been gone that I feel we should talk about. Well, the UFC is obviously canceling almost everything right now. Even UFC 249, Khabib and Tony Ferguson, it got canceled as of now. They're talking about Tony might fight Conor, whatever. It's not Tony Ferguson and Khabib, so therefore people don't care like that. This is the 5th time that fight's been called off. In the wake of that, John Bones Jones goes out and does what John Jones does, right? He got in trouble. He was driving his I don't know, I'm not a car guy, but he had a very fast SUV that he was driving down the streets of New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. He had a firearm, which the last thing that was posted on his Instagram channel was him drawing a bow back and getting some target practice, and so whatever. I mean, he trains out of the same area in New Mexico where Cowboy used to hang around, so shooting guns is probably not a crazy thing to him. He's not a felon, so he's allowed to own a firearm. Now, why they said he was hanging out with homeless people that late, I don't know. That's usually a drug thing. You're trying to find drugs. Somebody said that there was a story about initially that he even got caught because somebody reported a gunshot being heard. And he did have an expended shell in his car. Now again, the expended shell could be explained by a day at the range. And hey, I missed one. But it's not good. John Jones has already had 2 DUIs, which as someone who's had 3 myself, I'm not judging. But to be in his position where you're on top of the world, you know, you got a family, you've messed up, you've been redeemed, you've messed up again, one of which was really bad. He like hit a pregnant lady, left the scene, came back, collected money, and then left again. Like, that was bad. Now you're still doing it. John Jones, I am not going to sit here and use this time to talk about anything else that you've done, should do, nothing. I just want John Jones to get help. As someone who has had exactly 3 DUIs like he has, and who has been through this system, and I watched the body cam footage. Let me check the camera real fast, make sure we're not losing it. I watched the body cam footage, and I'll tell you, man, it was actually tough for me to watch. I remember going through that myself, and now I never took a field sobriety test because I always declined it, but I heard John Jones breaking apart mentally. There's a point, if you've never gotten a DUI, I don't recommend it. There's a point in a DUI, right? There's a point at any time when you get arrested, when you're sitting there and the moment hits you, like, oh, I'm not getting away from this situation. I'm not just going to get a ticket and drive off. I'm going to jail, right? I felt that moment shift for John Jones when he realized it. Oh, they don't care that I'm John Jones. Actually, one of the guys really does care that you're John Jones because he pulled you over when you hit somebody else, you know, when you did one of your other shits that you did. I don't know if he was a part of the one where you hit the lady, but he's arrested John before. So he had it out for him anyway. Now, a lot of people are saying that the cop was a dick to John. I think he was maybe a little more speedy talk with him when he was giving him instructions because he was already aggravated by him and just who he is as a person. But as a police officer, he kept his composure and he, whatever. Now, the body cam footage might have been a reason why his plea deal that he took only got him 4 days on house arrest and 1 year on probation. That cop, you know, his Hollywood celebrity attorney probably was like, well, look at those instructions. And as a guy who has been trained how to give those, I will say that was very quick. Now again, when John Jones said, hey man, I have anxiety, you know, can you please not bind them tight? The dude was like, hey bro, I'm going to give you an extra set. That's not somebody who has a vendetta. That's not somebody who's trying to fuck you. If he was going to do that, he would have put him behind his back, he'd have locked him down tight, and he'd have made him sit on his hands. You know, he even asked him, hey man, can I take my jacket off? Guy was being cool with him. And then John turns around and he goes, man, I just feel bad for my kid, my family. And he started crying, and the guy even warned him a couple times. He was like, hey bro, I got my body cam footage on, like, don't embarrass yourself. Also, don't say anything stupid. A couple times he started crying. He goes, hey bro, just reminder, I got my camera on. Pull it together, you know? So, ultimately, man, I really hope that John Jones finds the help from substances. Whatever substances he's taking, I'm not even going to try to get on that. I'm not even going to try. Who knows? It's not important. I just hope whatever he's doing, I just truly, truly hope he gets help. And I can't wait for the UFC to come back, man. I miss fights. I miss everything. I'm ready to watch a baseball game at this point. I miss sports so bad. But, you know, we live and we learn. And through that time, you know, with no sports, no stuff like that, I've taken on a new hobby. I've been cooking. I created a cooking show. If you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's called Ready to Rise. Just like the road to redemption is ready to rise. And it's cool, man. Me and my wife have been taking on these little cooking projects, and I'm turning them into videos, like a cooking channel, a cooking series on YouTube. Go check that out. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can just go right now while you're listening. Guys, other than that, life has been good. I hope life has been good for you. I want to encourage you, undertake some projects, learn stuff, read new things, take on new ways of thinking. Don't get stuck. Sadhguru, who is a teacher that I've been listening to, said something today that I thought was pretty interesting. And I actually shared it on Facebook, so I'll just read it straight from there so that way I don't butcher it. While we're waiting on that, thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped. Guys, you guys can go over to manscaped.com, use code ROAD20, get all your Manscaped needs, where they've got the Lawnmower 3.0 right now, which is the skin-safe technology, so when you're shaving, or shaving your nether regions, anytime you touch skin, it's guaranteed not to nick or snag you, or it can make you, cut, or zzz, it hurts. They guarantee that's not going to happen, guys. All their products smell amazing. We got some stuff coming up with them. You'll see that in the next, probably the next 2 episodes. You'll see some exciting stuff coming up from Manscaped. You guys know them. You love them. Go check them out. Manscaped. Road20 is the code for that. Look, I got all into talking about Manscaped. I completely forgot what I was doing. Alright, so the quote from Sadhguru. The mind is a prejudiced mind. Once you identify with a belief or to believe something, you base everything else around that in your life. So, I want to encourage you on our way out today. Guys, challenge your own beliefs. Everything. It was the scariest thing for me to do. I grew up a Southern Baptist Christian, and it was the hardest thing for me to do. And I never, and this is an important part I want to make, if you're going to choose to question your religious beliefs, questioning things is not bad. Anyone who tells you you should never question is trying to manipulate you, is trying to control you, and is trying to use you for some kind of agenda, right? Now, I've never denied what I grew up believing, which is that there is a man, his name was Jesus Christ, he died on the cross for my sins, for the bad shit that I do, so that way I can have eternal, heaven. I have never denied that. Now, do I think that's highly likely that those stories have been passed through times and changed? Yes, I do. Do I believe that there's a higher power out there that controls all this, that knows why we're all here, that's whatever? I simply say to that, yes. I believe that there is something that is so much more grand than we are, and it does control all this, and I have no idea what happens to us after this, but I don't have to worry about that. What I do have to worry about is, can I be present in every moment that I'm here? Some of you forget. Go, that's now. That was gone. Go back and rewind it. But that moment that I did that is gone. That happens every single moment in your life. Gone. If some of y'all don't use this corona quarantine time to realize that that can be the difference between you doing something that you really care about and making a life that you really care about, and that being another moment that you sit on the couch and binge watch freaking Tiger King. I've never seen it. I've been so annoyed by it. That's the only commentary I'll give by it. It's annoying and I'm tired of hearing about it. It's a bunch of trash people doing trash shit. I mean, I don't know why people consume their time with it. I really don't. But again, there you go. I don't know how long that freaking series is, but it's full of a lot of those. A lot of moments. Let's get our moments back and spend them on time with, things that we care about. And with that, guys, I'll send you out. Guys, please like, subscribe, share this with your friends. The Road to Redemption podcast is something I care greatly about. I see all the listeners to it, so it shows that you guys care because you check it out every week. Please leave me comments on the YouTube channel. Please go over and watch the video version. We're back with the video version. I'm recording right now. Love to you guys. Like I said, like, subscribe. Go check out all the other stuff I got going on. I got backwoods smoke sessions going on. I got cooking shows. Ready to Rise is going down. Podcast is back. We're rocking, baby. It's good to be back. Love you guys. See you soon.